Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. If this is your first time here, then welcome. If you are back for a second or third time, or you have gone through every single review with me since the season started, it is decision day. Okay, what you gonna do? What you gonna do is subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and hit that like button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Child, we made it to decision day. And let me tell y'all something. I didn't realize how much Chris and Paige make my pressure go up. You know, we were complaining about the boredom of it all through the other episodes because they were making us go to Snooze Town or whatever. But honey, when Chris and Paige came on the scene tonight, they had my nerves all the way bad. Okay, so I'm happy we got that much needed break for all of our blood pressures. Okay, and now we're gonna get into it if we're gonna get into it. Decision day. So we see them doing the little reels and they're showing the different couples. And so we see Bree and she's like, it's the biggest decision I'll ever have to make in my life. Charlotte sure is, honey. Choose wisely. I hope you saw that troll meme that Vincent posted. Vincent said, it feels strange to wake up without my wife. I'm used to waking up with Bree. No, you're used to Bree waking you up so that you can be productive, because we know otherwise you would sleep the day away. Honey, that's what you really mean. But honey, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. Then we see Jacob. He says he feels weird. Honey, so do we. Then we see Haley. She's like, I hope I have no regrets. Well, we regret this season. So, I mean, regrets are bound to happen. Then we see Ryan consulting with his dogs on whether or not he should stay with Clara. That's fitting. And then the couples start to arrive. Virginia, what do you have on, honey? Looking fresh out of Easter service, a Walmart original? Girl, anyway, honey child. So then we see Ryan and Clara. That's our first couple to make their decision. Ryan says, Clara is super bold and courageous, and she's gorgeous. Well, that's good to know, honey, because we were a little bit iffy as to whether or not you thought Clara and her chin were attractive, okay? Because all season you look like you couldn't be bothered. Then he says, she's given me something to come home to. Okay, Clara said, Ryan is determined. He loves to work out and has an amazing body. Girl, how would you know? You've never even seen his nipples. Child, okay, y'all just be saying anything. Then she said he keeps her feet warm at night. Girl, so can a pair of fuzzy socks, and they sell them separately at the Dollar Tree, child. You can get a pair of socks for $1 if you need something to keep your feet warm. Child, be standing on marriage to keep your feet warm at night, honey. Fuzzy socks are all around you, especially at Christmas time. Okay. Ryan comes in first. Then Clara, you're cute, honey. I like that dress. Okay, don't sit on down, honey. Let's get into it if we're going to get into it. Clara said, I'm not 100% I'll say yes. And Clara, gone now, child. Pastor Cal said, so how's it been? Ryan said, it's been pretty good. The good, the bad, the ugly. I learned a lot for sure. Honey, we've learned a lot as well. We've learned you only know one word. We've learned that you had been living in a house with a cabinet that was slanted. We've learned that you and Clara like to lie to us out here in TV land. And we've learned that Clara will do just about anything to get you to love her. So Pastor Cal said, how have you, so then Pastor Cal said, so how have you gleaned from that? Like, what have you learned from her? Because she's spicy. Ryan said, kind of spicy. Child, I don't know nothing about Clara say spicy, but if y'all say so. Then Pastor Cal said, she's no pushover. Have y'all been watching the same show? That's all he's been doing, honey. Child, okay. So Dr. Viviana said, what about Pound Town? She didn't exactly say Pound Town, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up, honey. So Clara said, it's been slow, but that's okay. Being slow is okay. Honey, you're slow. And I ain't talking about the Pound Town, honey. I'm just talking about mentally slow. Girl, gone. So then Dr. Viviana said, well, what kind of confirmation of the L word has happened? Dare I say love? Clara said, it hasn't. Ryan cuts her off, honey, because he got to hurry up and interject because he wants to make sure he looks perfect, okay? He cannot have the people out here thinking that he's not a gentleman. Ryan cuts her off and said, it's a mental block for me and it's a work in progress and it will always be a work in progress. Clara, he is telling you right here today that it may be years, honey. You might be on your dying bed. And that is when you will hear, I love you. Because Ryan ain't budging no time soon. I'm just hoping you listening, girl. Dr. Pepper said, well, now it's time to decide. Because, baby, Dr. P is tired, honey. She looked very tired in this first half, okay? So Clara said, you're my BFF and my healthiest relationship by far. And I can't picture my life without you. He's the best husband I've ever had. He's your only one. We know you were trying to be cute, honey. It didn't land. Then they said, She said, I would love to stay married to you. Of course you would, Clara. Of course you would. Then they asked Ryan. He said, I don't know if anyone has ever gotten into my brain. You know, what works for Ryan, not necessarily for Clara. Boy, what in the riddle me this, the riddle me that? Who's afraid of the big black bat? Boy, just go ahead and say what it is you're going to say. Child, Ryan is getting on my nerves. Child, everybody's squirming and looking. Honey, Dr. Viviana's trying to get her dress together. Pastor Cal cleaning his glasses. Dr. P just standing there looking like she's about to fall asleep. Then they pan over to Clara, and she has tears welling up in her eyes, honey, because her nerves are getting bad. And she's like, oh, my God, is he going to say yes or is he going to say no? Honey, Ryan, if you don't spit it out, I know it's hard to say anything other than sure, but we going to need you to come on, okay? So then they take a dramatic commercial break. Child, come on now, honey. Get to the getting. Then Ryan comes back and says, I am 150% sure I want to stay married to Clara. All right, you little Keebler elf. Give it to her tonight, okay? You're gonna have to give it up. Since you said you want to stay together, honey, you're gonna have to drop them draws. I'm just telling you right now. Clara's still lying to the camera, saying she looked for this all of her life. Girl, go on and good luck, child. Pastor Cal said, we'll go and do what married people do. This boy gonna say, let's do it. Ain't happening, honey. Child, but make sure he means actually do it. Not like Nike, just do it. He means like actually do a little moaning, do a little groaning, honey. That's what he means. So hopefully y'all get to it tonight, but I'm sure y'all won't. Then Ryan says, this is a 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Child, I'm done with Ryan talking like a Yelp review. Let's move on. Now we see Haley and Jacob. Now, Haley, get in here and sit down and don't start no mess with my Jacob. He has been through enough for these 8 weeks. I don't want no problems with you, you little flat-faced heifer. Get in here, be nice, say you decide to go your separate way, but do not be rude, okay? I'm watching you. So Haley's like, you know, I took a risk. When I first met Jacob, you know, I hoped that he would win me over with his personality. Yeah, because you didn't have to put in any work. You just hope he'd win you over. Not that you'd win him over. Girl, anyway. She said, you know, some might say he's quirky. He loves the 80s, has a very weird diet. And, you know, we don't have much in common. Child, Haley, you couldn't find one nice thing to say. All of this was negative. She said he's opinionated, as he should be, especially with you. And so then they go to Jacob. And Jacob said, you know, Haley is smart, beautiful, strong-willed, but she finds what's wrong and not what's right. Just like now. Honey, everything that you just said has been proven in what she said in her introduction to coming into decision day. Always with the negativity. Girl, walking around with that dark cloud over you. Girl, gone, honey. So Jacob comes in first and then Haley. Jacob, I don't like these glasses that you're wearing. I don't know if this is for vision or for style, but they make you have like beady little eyes. I don't like them, honey. Take those glasses off, honey. Take off your opticals, okay? So then Dr. Viviana said, you know, it's been a long 8 weeks. How do you feel today? And Jacob said, you know, I'm okay. Haley said, oh, I feel good. I'm sure you do, because you know you're about to say no and this experiment is about to be over. Child, of course you feel good. So they asked what she was thinking. She said, well, you know, he's not my typical type. What is exactly your typical type, Jennifer Aniston? Honey, please let us in. J-Lo, please let us know what's your typical type. Because we know you go for the Hollywood starlets. Girl, gone somewhere, honey. You just got through wearing kitten heels. Today is the first day you came in here with some heels that actually had you standing up on your feet. Talking about he's not your typical type. Child, have you seen his body? Now, I would do without that chest hair, but that's just me. But other than that, honey, Jacob is judged. I don't like them little glasses. But other than that, child, talking about he's not your typical type. Negative, okay? So then they asked Jacob. Jacob was like, you know, I said she was cute. See, that's what I'm saying. He always has something positive to say. Dr. Viviana said, so what did you learn? Haley said, you know, I learned how to process my feelings. Then they asked Jacob what he felt. He said, you know, it's a patience over, what did he say? It's a practice of patience type of thing. And so then Dr. P said, well, what does that mean? He said, you know, when she changed that seat, I went off. He ain't actually say it like that. But the bottom line is, when he saw this heifer was rearranging and changing her seat, he realized this might not be the woman for me. And she realized it the night they went to Pound Town. Haley said, well, you know, I just feel like I was just doing so much to get to know him, because now it's her time, her one last time to let us know how much effort she put in when we were the ones watching the show and saw absolutely no effort. But we're going to go ahead and let you get it off your chest, Haley. Go on, set yourself off, honey. So Haley said, I just put in so much effort and I just felt like that things weren't being reciprocated. He said, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's not how I wanted to make you feel. So he's apologizing to her, right? So Pastor Cal said, well, her face is saying something different. Well, we don't care about her face. It's flat. So we can't really tell what it's saying, honey. It's not giving what needs to be gave. So Pastor Cal, let's move on, honey. So she said, well, we would have the same conversation every day. Child, basically like the movie Groundhog Day. Y'all remember when Groundhog Day kept repeating the same scene over and over and over? Because it's all in my head. I think about it over and over again. Shout out to Nelly. Okay. So then Dr. P was like, okay, Haley, like, what is the question? What does he keep asking you over and over again? What's the questions, child? So then Haley said, he keeps asking me, am I attracted to him? Should he stop eating onions? Should he stop eating eggs? Should he stop eating steak? Child. Girl, anyway, she was like, after a while, I just wanted to break that up and I just wanted some fun. Haley, you keep saying you wanted to have fun. Girl, what did you want to do? Go to Chuck E. Cheese on Saturdays? Girl, this is a marriage. Marriage is hard work, honey. I know y'all think it's fun and everything, child. But if you ain't ready, honey, this is something you really don't need to get yourself into because marriage is nothing to play with. So Dr. P said, okay, Haley, honey, you're spoiled. Was there something else? She didn't say you're spoiled, but y'all know how I do. And then, so she's like, because I'm seeing something here. I mean, when I asked you to do the assignment, both of you had nice things to say about each other. And so then he was like, well, we did win the contest about the couple who knows the most about each other. See, that's what I'm saying. Dr. P says, see, there was something there. Nothing. Okay. Dust. There was nothing there. Pastor Cal asked if Haley, he looked at Jacob. He said, if Haley said she wanted to work it out, what would you say? Pastor Cal, stop being messy. Pastor Cal, you was kind of getting on my nerves this episode. You got on my nerves right here with this question, and you got on my nerves when Chris and old bald head Paige came on there with that bad wig. You got on my nerves twice this episode, honey, and we're going to get into it as we get into it. And this is one of the times. So Jake just sitting there. He's talking about, baby, Jacob don't care nothing about Haley. Jacob said, yeah, don't even think about it, honey. Don't even think about it, Jacob. She's a waste of time. Her energy is too negative. She has a dark cloud over her. She even came in wearing all black like the Omen. Honey, no thank you. Child, Haley looking like, don't even give him any ideas. Haley, trust me, he don't want you, child. So Jacob said, we had 8 weeks to try, and I don't know if we ever did. Boom, huh, child. And we didn't get a Jacob joke of the day, but boom, boom, honey, on that. Haley said, I agree. If I tried to stick this out, it would be me settling. I would like a divorce. Child, it's the audacity for me, honey. Bye, boy George, honey. You and your hats. Go home to Karen Sr. Child, we don't care. Child, girl, gone hell for it's going to be 7 more years after this. Because after a man looks at these episodes, he's going to understand exactly why you've been single since you were 3. Anyway, so then they asked Jacob, and he said he's optimistic and hopeful. Oh, Jacob, one day your princess will come, child, honey. Because definitely you was Princess and the Frog, okay? Or Prince and the Frog. Now we over here to Paige and Chris. Oh, y'all listen. Now, initially when I was seeing the previews for Decision Day, I just knew they were going to leave us with Chris and Paige at the end so that we can go into the reunion with a cliffhanger. And then, just gone on about our regular business, honey. Back to regular business hours. But child, they said no. After Jacob and Haley, we gonna give y'all Chris and Paige. Child, my palms started sweating, my hair started sweating, and everything else, child. Everything was a mess. So now we're at Chris and Paige. Child, Chris clearly only has 3 suits. So he comes in and he sits down, okay? Child, and now he got one of his grandmother's brooches that he's attached to this suit. So come on in and sit down with your brooch, child, and let's get this going. Paige like, I was trying to find my Mr. Ready right now. Well, child, Mr. Wide Hips ain't ready. I'm just letting you know that right now before you get any ideas. She was like, he has a lot of admirable qualities. Where, girl? He has a unique sense of humor. He's flat as a rock. She said at times, she sees genuine moments, but they are overshadowed by his duplicitous and erratic behavior. Okay, Paige, at this point, I realized you were reading off of a script, and I realized that you wrote these things down. But at the same time, child, just say it straight up. He's a narcissist. He's a jerk. He's an idiot. And he's a twat. Honey, nobody want to be bothered with him, child. And he's a master manipulator, as we will see a little bit later on in this review. She said, he always leaves me feeling rejected. Well, he leaves me feeling like I want to hurl every single time I see him on the screen. Honey, he called you ugly. Child, Chris said, I felt blessed when I first saw her on the screen. You called her ugly. She's loyal. You called her ugly. She's patient and carries herself with class. She's a classy, ugly woman. You said that of all the queens out there, they chose Paige, and I'm never going to let you forget it. He said, but Paige gets agitated easily. Honey, you irritate everybody's spirit. Of course. I bet everybody was talking to the screen, hollering, getting drinks. Honey, we didn't know we were going to be drinking on a random Wednesday. We had stopped drinking once you and Paige were gone. Child, now everybody taking drinks. We're back up there with Virginia. Honey, taking shots. Honey, we need a break. He's like, she has struggled with protecting my feelings. Boy, are you insane? Child, okay, see, this is what I'm saying right here. Talking about he was looking forward to being a power couple. Then Paige shows up. Paige, that thing in the back, honey, but that hair is still questionable, okay? Pastor Cal said, well, give us some of the positive moments. Chris said, because, he got this stupid, crackly voice. The last day we were playing pool, we were having fun. Well, we played basketball, we were having fun. When I was humiliating her, we were having fun. When I had sex with her 5 or 6 times and I went downstairs with that ex and had a fake panic attack, we were having fun. Boy, shut up. The last day, you told her that you wanted a divorce. You said she was unavailable, unreachable, honey, and you were done. Okay, so I don't understand how you were having fun. It's got to be something left on the cutting room floor because I'm completely confused. And you in this little stupid, crackly voice, boy, drink yourself some water and do a and get yourself together. Coming in with that stupid voice. Anyway, so then they asked Paige, and she's like, even the smallest moments, I saw potential there. Then he gonna say, like what? See, this is what I'm saying. He wants you to affirm him. Paige, do not answer him, okay? What you should have said is, are you one of the experts? And the experts, honey, this is when y'all need to pipe up and say, Chris, we'll be asking the questions. Child, she was like, it's like I feel like I see why we were matched. I like your vulnerability. And I just feel like God put us together. Paige, don't start that ish. Don't start that. Do not start that, honey. We have had a break from you using God's name in vain. So we're going to need to continue on this path. Please do not start that. She said, but I just never felt respected and valued. Then Dr. V said, oh no. And then she said, and to know, you're having a child, it was just too much. So then Dr. V said, so why you keep coming back? Honey, these are the burning questions, child. This is what we all want to know. Why do you keep going back over there if you already know these are the things that's happening? Honey, I know that's right. Paige said, I was just in love with the idea of marriage. Like, I didn't even really realize what was going on. I was just in love with the idea. Anyway, Dr. P said, is there any way you could have been kinder to Paige? Anything you would have liked to change? He said, I should have moved into that apartment. It feels like the abandonment started on the plane back from Vegas to Atlanta. Yeah, because you went to a whole nother state. Honey, you didn't even go back to the same state as your wife. You went to Chicago. Child. Then he gonna say, it was some of the, she was the best thing I never cherished. Oh my goodness, honey. Then he says he let external circumstances influence him. AKA that ex, honey. That's what influenced you. You thought you was gonna get back over there with that ex, and when you didn't, now you done came in here singing a different tune. Boy, gone somewhere, honey. That ex ain't posted nothing about you since you gave her that Mercedes. I don't want to hear nothing about it. She was what I needed in a wife. Lies, okay? Manipulation, scheming, plotting. Child. Then he said, and then he takes a dramatic pause. Pastor Cal said, what's wrong? Honey, we don't care. See, this is the problem. Everybody's always wondering and worrying about Chris. We don't give a damn. I don't care what's wrong with Chris. But since this is a show, let's proceed. I wanted to call and tell you that, I want to tell you Mercedes had a miscarriage. Child. Okay, honey. So you waited to be on screen. Now you had her number way before decision day because the miscarriage been going on since well before decision day. Okay, because after y'all had that sit down, which should have been a stare down, that is when allegedly she had this miscarriage. Okay, and you could not have called her. You wanted to wait until the cameras were in your face so you could try to make it real. But honey, you ain't fooling me. Child. Then they all were like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so Paige was sitting over there, honey, kind of smizing a little bit because she was thinking to myself, that's what you get. Baby, that's a whole miscarriage lie. Where are the receipts? And not that my chart paper. Okay, I don't want to see that. I want to see actuals and factuals. Child, anyway. So Chris is like, I really wanted to tell you. Then he gets up and leaves. Child, oh my God. Then he gets up and takes a dramatic exit in true Chris fashion. Child, Chris said, I'm going to show y'all, honey. I'm going to have me a moment. I ain't been on all these episodes. I'm going to get up and make it do what it do. Chris gone, child, in true Paige fashion. She gets up and chases him. Paige, why are you leaving out of the door behind this man? Child, Chris got up. He's a runner. He's a track star. Boy, I was like, where is this boy at? Child, Chris must have been as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog. Do y'all hear me, honey? Sonic. He got up and got out of Dodge. He had skates on his shoes or something. Because, child, as soon as Paige got outside, they were like, he's in the car. I think he left. She's like, what? He left? Honey, I wouldn't put it past him. Girl, let him go. Anyway, Paige gets in the car and he's crying. Girl, he crying over that ex, okay? So Paige is like, I'm concerned a lot about your mental health. I know you really, really wanted this baby. I'm not concerned about his mental health. I'm concerned about my mental health after having to watch y'all for 8 weeks, honey, and not a tear was shed. Girl, this is some old manipulation, narcissistic bullshit, okay? I have met Chris's type. They start with it's that cry where you have to put your hand strategically over your eyebrows a little bit above your eyelids so that you can keep your eyelids down so nobody can see that you're not shedding a tear. No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna shed never gonna shed a tear, no. Girl, he ain't crying, honey. What in the Mary J. Blige is going on here? Child, somebody get him an Oscar, honey. And a straight jacket, because clearly he's crazy. And get Paige one too, honey, because she's a nut as well. Chris said, it's not even about that, yo. I just feel bad for how I treated you. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was being selfish. I didn't cover you. I didn't protect you. I'm sorry, yo. Shut up. Ooh, I'm sorry to even be listening to this. She's just sitting there. I'm so sorry you're going through this. He's like, it's about she's protecting me in my lowest moment. Boy, this is you shifting the energy. Have y'all ever seen that movie Two Can Play That Game? Where, Vivica Fox was all like losing her mind over Morris Chestnut, honey. He was playing games and then he went over to her house and shifted the whole energy, okay? So at one moment, he was completely fine and then he wanted her to feel his pain. So he went over there and got her all riled up and shifted the energy back onto her. Honey, you little shifty character. I knew your eyes were a little shifty, so you're shifting energy right up and through. Girl, if you don't get out this car and lock that door and lock him in there and take the keys, honey, and hopefully he can find his way out. That's how stupid he is. He might get locked inside. Paige said, you know what? I'm second guessing my decision because this is the first time he has ever affirmed me, not just as a woman, but as a wife. And I felt it. I wish you could feel me slapping you upside the head, honey. I wish you could feel my hand upside your head right now. What are you saying? So as they're walking back inside, he's like, are you cold? Are you cold? Well, I'm hot. I'm 38 hot that I had to sit here and watch the two of you make a mockery of this whole process. Child. So then they walk in and she's like, I'm freezing. And then he gives her the jacket once they get inside. Oh, them some idiots right there. So you waited until you got inside to give her that coat. Paige comes back inside. She's like, I'm so sorry about that. She's apologizing to the experts because she's always cleaning up his mess. Paige comes back in and says, I'm just overwhelmed by the whole situation. Dr. V said, why are you overwhelmed by the situation? Baby, listen. Okay, now, last time it was Master P for me. Nah. Y'all know how I feel about Master P. But tonight, honey, it's Dr. Viviana all the way. Dr. Viviana is like, look, what are you overwhelmed about, girl? What is wrong with you? That's what she really want to say. She said, baby, what is going on? So then Paige was like, well, the main reason that we didn't work was because of the baby and now that's gone. So I'm like, wow, girl, shut the hell up. Pastor Cal said, I wanna, honey, he don't know what to do. Somebody need to hit him in his back and get his vocals started up. Child, you got the man stuttering. Oh my goodness, child. He's like, I'm trying to be sensitive, but wasn't there always problems? Child. So then Chris gonna say, from day one, there was an issue of attraction, but outside of day one, I felt like things were heading down the right track. And that makes you think, what if there was no pregnancy? It wasn't. There was never a pregnancy. You and that ex got together because you realized you were not attracted to Paige. And so you said, look, I'll buy you a Mercedes, if you go along with my fake panic attack and my lies. So I'm going to tell her that you're pregnant so that I can exit this marriage stage left. Now, if you're going to go along with it, we're going to have to do a sit down. Does that mean I'm going to do a TV appearance? Yes. And I'll make sure that you get an interview and a confessional as well. Are you in? Yes, I'm in. What year is the Mercedes? The Mercedes is going to be a 2021. Are you in or not? I'm in. Honey, that's what happened. Sitting up here talking about, it makes me think, what if there was no pregnancy? Well, there was. Okay? You little liar. Anyway, child. So then Chris said, Pastor Cal said, look, cut the bull. What we going to do? What is going on here? Like, are you saying that you still want to be with her? Chris said, I have feelings for Paige. She's everything I need in my life. Now, you saw that dress and you saw that thing was stinging in the back, and now all of a sudden you have feelings for Paige. Honey, you ain't fooling me, child. Girl, child, boy gone, honey. You little weirdo. Anyway, he's like, if I had a time machine, I would go back. Well, call Jacob, honey, and ask him to gas up the DeLorean and see if y'all can go back to find you a personality, a male wardrobe, and a different face, honey, because this one's killing me. Anyway, Paige just smiling, looking dumb. Dr. P and Dr. V looking like, you big dummy. Then Pastor Cal said, you are hearing these things for the first time, things you've never heard, feeling feelings you've never felt. She's talking about, I don't want to say anything because it would be going based on emotions. So Pastor Cal said, well, what is it? Because, we're just trying to figure out what's gonna go on, honey. Chris said, you know what? We're undecided, and she's undecided as well. How you gonna speak for her? Then Dr. Viviana said, no. I'm not okay with this. He said, I can't give you an answer and neither can she. Again, why are you speaking for her? So then Dr. Viviana said, no, you are just doing this to play with her and now you playing in my face. She didn't say you playing in my face, but y'all know how I do. Child, y'all should have been around. Don't pipe up now. Y'all were hanging out over there at the Unmatchables. Oh, not the Unmatchables. Honey, they got me speaking in tongues, child. Hanging out with those Unmatchables who only eat chicken nuggets and sell caskets and fart in the caskets before they sell them, or whatever y'all doing over there on the Unmatchables. So now don't try to pipe up now, honey. Y'all should have been helping. But now you want to sit here and act like they playing in your face. They've been playing in our face since the beginning, honey, since they said I do. Child, let Paige and that bad acting narcissist gone on. And Dr. Pepper, why are you not speaking up? You said he was a narcissist, remember? Child, oh my God, child. Let me turn the page, honey. I ain't got time for this. So Dr. Viviana is talking, and Dr. P said, no, Pastor Cal is like, they've decided. It's okay, they've decided. Dr. Viviana was like, no, ain't no they decided. So Chris said, I really don't give a flying F about what you think. It's not what you want. It's what I want. Still getting disrespectful. So see, Paige, this right here should show you his actual character. Because if you can speak to a woman like that, then that shows the level of respect that he has for you as a woman. I hope that you're paying attention. Please take notes. It's not what he does only with you. It's how he treats others. I want you to be very aware of that. Because it's all fun and games until he starts cussing you out. Girl, then Paige said, you know what, to your point, yes, but we didn't have a chance to see what it could be. And so then Chris said, if people didn't find out or decide in 8 weeks, that should be okay. Paige starts shaking her head. Dr. P said, why are you shaking your head? Paige starts crying and now it's her turn to walk out. Oh my goodness. Chris follows behind her. Boy gone, honey. Just want to control something. Tell me, you want to go? Take your mic off. Let me manipulate you in private. Take your mic off. Child, So then she turns. She's like, can I talk to you? Listen, Paige, if this is causing you to have an emotional breakdown, then child, you need to let this junk go. I have never seen nothing like this. So she goes to talk to the producer and she's like, I feel stupid for even second guessing. As you should. Pastor Cal goes over to Chris. Now, Pastor Cal, this is the second time you've gotten on my nerves. He's like, you need to make a decision for you and for her. Child, okay, anyway. Go on, Pastor Cal, and let them exit. Stop trying with them, honey. Stop it. Then he tells Pastor Cal, I came in with the intentions of walking away, but then I saw that thinging. Child, y'all know he ain't say that, but y'all know I'm judging, okay? Y'all know I'm judging. I got to do it to get through it. Oh my goodness. So then Dr. V said to Dr. P as they were sitting in there, okay? When she looked at me like she wanted out. Child, not a cry for help. Child, she don't want out. She likes the toxicity of this stupidity that he has going on. Child, going around and around and around in circles every time they get together. She like that old crazy stuff. She likes for him to break her all the way down so he can build her all the way back up so she can blush and smile and say how she wants to continue the process. Child, let her be. So then Dr. Pepper said, you know what? Let's just do this. Paige says, you know what? I'm always holding on to the little bit of hope. I don't think things will change. I don't know if I can stay in this. And just for my mental health, I need to get the hell on, honey. I think I better leave you alone. Pack your bags and get the hell on. Because I don't want you no more. I think you better leave. Child, Chris was sitting there looking just as deflated. Child, because y'all know he walked in with his recycled suit on, honey, with his Kanye West cheeks. Child, cheeks sitting there just as puffy, but honey, they was deflated in that moment. Dr. Pepper says, well, we hope you see growth. Chris said he had hoped to ride off into the sunset with his wife, but now he's riding off into the sunset by himself. Well, listen, you might be riding off into the sunset by yourself, but where's that chariot? Honey, you said that chariot was for her to ride around your kids. So since there's no kid, are you taking back that car or no? Boy gone. Paige said, he never showed up for our marriage. So for me, it's a no. The expert looks like they just rescued somebody from a burning building, honey. They was all linked over, child. I think Pastor Cal had some smut on his glasses, honey. It was just a mess. I bet Paige walk out cold after that, honey. He gonna take that jacket right back. Maybe he gonna take that jacket back. Paige, I'm not buying nothing you selling, honey, because you always get us with this. I'm just gonna, the process no longer serves me and all this. Child, you ain't talking about nothing, honey. Go on, wig. Go on, honey. Child, he gonna try to beg you in that parking lot, and I'm sure y'all had sex after this, okay? They said, for her sanity, that they hope she gets it together. Dr. Pepper says, she's such a caring person, and all the hurt he inflicted on her is still something between them. I know it is. Yes, sex. Moving right along. Now we over here with Virginia and Eric. Woo, child. Let's take a brief intermission. And we're back. All right, so now we're back to Eric and Virginia. So Eric says, Virginia lights up every room she walks into. Honey, she's lit, literally. Honey, loose as a goose. Don't get her started. Full of that liquor when she step off in the party. Of course, she lights up every room. She's literally lit. What? When she touches him, he feels like everything is instantly okay. Sure, Eric. He said, at first, she didn't seem to be ready. Okay, here's the real Eric, okay? She's a person who needs boundaries. All right, Eric, now we're warming up to the real you. Even on her worst days, she can do no wrong. Eric, you just want to be married, okay? That's what I'm getting from you, that you just want to be married. It didn't matter which one of these people they paired you with. You would have said yes on decision day. They could have paired you with Pastor Cal. You would have said yes. Virginia said, he has a pure soul. He worries more about me than himself. That's because he wants to worry about what you're doing, making sure you don't spend a night, and he's making sure he can control your every move. He's super loyal. He stays even when I push him away. She said he's sometimes too grown up. Okay, Peter Pan. All right, Tinkerbell. Girl, what? He's too grown up. Eric always thinks he knows best, though. Sure, he sure does. Virginia, so then she arrives. Virginia, what are you wearing? Again. Girl, you ain't even try, child. She said, I would be lying if I said, I was not worried about what would happen. Child, so then Dr. Pepper asked, well, how are you guys doing together? Eric said, there are walls up. She hasn't let me in. He said, I know I'm not her number one person. They said, well, who is? Rocky and those cats. Those are her number one people. Oh, you know what? Scratch that. Tequila, honey. That's what's her number one. Tequila. That's her number one person. He said, I think it's her friends. No, it's a drink and then Rocky and those cats. Virginia said, I want to need him, but I have a wall up. So Pastor Cal says, so what is it? Eric says, the ups have outweighed the downs and the lows, and she's shown me a lot. There's been very hard times, blah, blah, blah. Eric, let's get to it. He said he wouldn't change a thing. So his answer is, He gets down on one knee, pulls out this rubber band, honey, because it didn't look like a solid ring. I didn't know what that was. It looked like it was pink. I don't know what was happening. But child, it was something he had picked up on his way in. So, okay. He gets down on one knee and asks Virginia, will she stay married to him? So Virginia had ate all of her lipstick off, and she was staring like she had just seen a ghost. So her goofy behind looking, everybody's getting scared, and she's like, yes. Then they popped the bottles, because, honey, that's the only reason why she said yeah, to get some of that champagne, child. Her glass was the first one to be sticking out. She was like, please pour me a glass, honey. I don't know what I just did. I don't realize what I just did. I had a swig before I came in here to decision day. So Dr. Viviana starts lying about how they're so proud of them and they wish them the best. Child, y'all gone. Virginia says she's confident in him and loves with, that he's her husband and she's in love with him. Child, this gonna be a mess. On to sensitive Vinny and Brianna. Child, Vincent comes in and sits down. He ain't been to work, so we know he had time on his hands. Time on my hands. Since you've been away, Bree, I ain't got no plans. No. Y'all know I'm gonna put a song in where a song needs to be inserted, okay? So Bree said, I never thought that I would meet someone like Vincent, a lazy bump on a log. She said he's the most caring man she's ever met. He's a ticking time bomb, girl. She said he gives her surprises just to see her smile. He surprised you all right when he cut that braid, honey. Let's not forget. She said he can be stuck in his ways. He can't take criticism or jokes, and he overthinks things. Girl, he's afraid of literally everything. Probably afraid of his own shadow. I bet y'all sleep with a nightlight on. Child, anywho. Vincent said, I admire her. She supports me. Yeah, financially. She's happy to have, I'm happy to have a partner that I can laugh with. And he's happy to teach her about his culture. Okay, child. Vincent said, she is direct and that it doesn't come off very well. But she's everything that he wanted and he needed. So Bree shows up first. Okay, Bree, honey. Love this red, honey. I love the dress. And yes, for the natural blowout and curls. You didn't put them braids in because you didn't want to take no chances. Ain't no telling when Vincent might pull some shears from out yonder. So we understand why you looking how you looking, and you look beautiful. Come on in and have a seat, honey. Let's get into it if we gonna get into it. So they asked how it's going. Vincent said, that we've held each other's hand and things have been up and down, but we're still here. The standard answers. Bree said, I'm not used to letting someone take care of me, but Vincent does everything that I need him to do. If he doesn't work, the least he could do is be a house husband, honey, and take care of Cookie, make sure she gets her walks and her water. Of course. So Vincent said, her tone and her being bossy, it's a little bit rude. And so Bree said, it's been a ton of compromise on my part. Child, oh goodness. Her tone, she's like, what? My tone and my directness is a part of me, and I can't change it to be who he wants me to be. Child, Dr. Viviana was looking like, child, what is happening? And Vincent over there looking like, don't make me cut your real hair too. Do not make me cut your curls. This is the thing. As long as she validates his little feelings, he's good. A little criticism and he's rude. But at the same time, Brianna, you're going to have to learn to effectively communicate. It can't always be a directive. Sometimes you need to speak in a way that is the other person can understand. Okay, I just want you to take that with you, child, if you happen to come across this review. So Pastor Cal said, okay. So Vincent, do you want to stay married? So no, he asked Brianna first. So Bree said, I didn't want to change myself, but I like who I'm becoming because of you. Oh, do you? Girl, that's a shocker. She wants to see where it can go. So she said yes. So then Dr. P said, okay, Vincent, it's your turn. Vincent said, she's brought so much joy into my life and she's fulfilled my life. She's all that I have been missing, but he has to tell her something. And honey, I was getting real scared right here on this part, because y'all know last time when Vincent had a surprise, it was those shears, honey, that he pulled from up under that pillowcase. So I was like, oh Lord, he going underneath the couch. It's probably going to be a gun, child. Woo! My nerves got bad, honey. Everybody started holding on to their seats because we don't know with Vincent. We just don't know. Goes underneath the couch, pulls out this box with a cheesecake in it. Child, y'all should have seen how hard I rolled my eyes when he pulled out that cheesecake. Okay, so he pulls out this box with the cheesecake in it, and the box reads, Brianna, will you marry me? She starts crying. Mostly because she realized that she made the biggest mistake of her life, honey, but she is hungry, so bring the cheesecake on. And Vincent said, will you marry me? And she's like, yes. Oh my gosh, y'all don't understand. I really love cheesecake. Like literally, I like the cheesecake over the ring. See, Bree, there you are just saying stuff that don't make no sense because, girl, we know that's not the truth. Child, your budget calls for a ring, okay? So then Vincent said, she said yes. And then she said, I said yes to the cheesecake, not you. Well, y'all know it's a little truth in every joke, honey. He did look at her like, make me slap you, huh? Make me show you what I showed you when those cameras were down. Honey, I am so upset that they stayed together. All jokes aside, I really did not want this for Bree. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that, I'm so happy that Bree and Vincent. No, I know we all wanted a couple to make it, but not at the expense of their sanity. She's going to have to forever walk on eggshells with Vincent. It's not a good look, honey. Bree says she's excited about her love story. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting this. I expected Haley and Jacob. Haley couldn't wait. She almost called them from the car. Like, I ain't coming in. I don't want to be married. Bye. Honey, she almost called them from the car. So we knew that was going to happen. And Jacob could give a care less about Haley if we really being serious. Chris and Paige, honey, they always pulling a stunt. So I kind of figured they would do that. Eric and Virginia like to fight just to make up, so I knew they would do that. Clara's just hanging on for dear life because she avoids rejection. And Ryan is just doing something. I don't know what he's doing, honey. Needs a beard or whatever it is he needs, honey. Go on, whatever, and do whatever. Go on. Child, go on. Everyone meets up for one last hurrah. Jacob, Paige is single now. Okay, honey, sitting over there with the blanket across her lap. Honey, get on over there. Get into it if we're going to get into it. So Clara said, just want to let you guys know that we're staying married. But is the sex happening? That's what I want to know. I'm not worried about if y'all staying married. We heard that already. Like, is the sexuals happening? Has he taken off that chastity belt yet? Vincent tells everyone, I proposed with a cheesecake. Child, because that's all you could afford. Of course you proposed with a cheesecake. Girl, gone. Bree was like, but I still want the ring, though. Well, that ain't what you said. In the room, you said that you wanted the cheesecake more than a ring, and that is what you got. I hope you have some frozen. Child. Girl, gone, honey. Vincent tells everyone he proposed. Virginia said, Eric even asked my dad to propose to me. Eric, you know what? You know what I noticed about you? You just do things for brownie points. You do things for people to look at you like, wow, Eric's such a great guy, such a stand-up individual. I don't trust nothing about you, Eric, at all. Okay? I've been saying it for 8 weeks, and I'm going to say it again. However long we've been going through this process. Child, what episode is this, child? We've been going through this with y'all for 17 weeks. And for 17 weeks, I feel like you have always done things to look a certain way on camera. That's the problem with all of the men on this season of Married at First Sight, with the exception of Chris, honey, because he acts a fool wherever he goes. He has no home training. So we can't go with Chris on this one, but the rest of them, we can. Jacob said, I wasn't sure that Virginia and Eric were going to stay together, but, I'm happy for them. I know that's right, Jacob. I wasn't sure either. Haley said, we said no. Honey, she just smiling and leaning, but I've learned a lot. Jacob said, still nothing. Jacob said, I got nothing from this. I didn't get a wife. I didn't get to eat my steak and eggs. I didn't get no sex. And now I didn't get any lessons. Jacob, you are hilarious. Paige is like, 60% of me wanted to stay. Girl, 60% is over half. Girl, what are you saying? Everybody was looking, honey. It was crickets. Child, then Paige tells them, he said I was the best thing that he never had. Virginia said, he said that? Y'all know Virginia gonna tell y'all exactly how she feels. Clara starts downing that beer, honey. She had that Heineken turned all the way up, child. She didn't come up for air not one time. Brianna was looking with her face all twisted. Vincent wasn't saying a word because he was like, child, look, I just barely skated by, so I'm not saying nothing. So then she starts saying, we were literally there for 6 hours. Are you crazy, Paige? You were there for 6 hours? Honey, just call me Ben Affleck because I would have been gone in 60 seconds. Honey, I would not have been dealing with Chris for 6 hours. Girl, that's a whole work day. No wonder the experts came back when the sun was up with the exact same clothing on. Y'all messed up production. Child, I don't even know if it was Ben Affleck in that movie. Child, it might have been somebody else, honey. I don't know. Child, put it down in the comments. But gone in 60 seconds it is. Virginia said, well, why were you even considering it? She's like, well, It's some things that transpired, but it's not my place to say, he'll let that be known. Paige, it was filmed. And why are you still trying to protect him? He has no problem not protecting you. Just say, he said that ex had a miscarriage. Just say it. But at the same time, I do appreciate that you have had the same character throughout this entire process. So I have to give you props on that. I give you a hard time, Paige, but you actually are a sweet lady. And I do hope that one day your self-esteem will come through, and that you will see all that we have seen for you in these 17 weeks, child. Because, honey, I don't know what else to tell you. So then Clara said, how were you at 60%? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I would have been so sad for her had she stayed in that marriage. Our hope is that, and then she looks at Paige and she says, our hope is that you find someone that is not 60% sure of you. Clara, hush. Our hope is that you have at least gone to 60% of Pound Town. Have you gotten off your knees and come up above, honey, his navel? Why you sitting up there worrying about Paige? Child, I always got something to say like your stuff is perfect. Clara get on my nerves sometime. Chris comes walking in. Child, I was not expecting that. And then the dramatic music, dun, dun, dun. Child, everybody was looking stunned. Even Champagne Vinny, or Welch's Grape Vinny. Honey, even he was looking crazy. Nah, that's your little friend. That's your friend, Vincent. Why you looking like that? Child, Chris comes in, walking with this empty box, dressed like Pastor Cal at the top and an IG model at the bottom, holding a box. Child, Chris is like herpes simplex 1. You get an outbreak and then it goes away. And just when you think you're good, the virus comes back. Like, Chris will not go. Boy, at this time, you're giving real stalker vibes. You're giving real restraining order tease, honey. You're giving real protective order. Like, I don't, child, okay. I know you wanted to close the chapter out and everything, but child, everyone is looking shocked when he walked in. And Eric with the K lost all color in his face. Okay, Eric was looking like, oh my God, child, and he's sitting next to me. Oh my God. And boy, what is in that box? Child, it was literally crickets in the back. I'm talking about literal crickets. You could actually hear the crickets in the back when Chris walked in. So Chris apologizes to them and says he's happy they supported Paige because he put her through a lot, and he congratulated all the couples that stayed together. And so Bree was like, well, how have you been? He said, I was a terrible husband. Then he starts running down his Amazon wish list. I wish I would have moved in. I wish I was a man. I wish I was more than one suit. I wish I wouldn't have sat down with that ex. I wish I wouldn't have had a fake panic attack. I wish Paige would have ran a rake through that head. I wish Paige would have had a different wig with a part on when we first said I do. Maybe I would have changed my mind. Honey, he ran through all of his wishes. So Clara said, well, did you learn anything? He said, yeah, no matter how successful you are, there are areas I could have done better. Sure. Anyway, so Paige said, I'm shocked to see him after all this. I'm just shocked to see this after 7 weeks. So then Paige was like, I'm proud of this moment. Girl, he came with a box and didn't do nothing with it, honey. A box full of empty promises. The box was just as empty as the words he said to you in there with those experts. Girl, don't come in there with that box and sit it down on the side of him. Honey, I don't know what was in it. It could have been pizza. It could have been food. It could have been lies. I don't know what was in it. It looked empty to me. Honey, the box was nothing. But I know you were hoping he was going to make a grand gesture. I know you were. Sitting over there wrapped up, hoping that this idiot was going to say something else to reel you back in. So Paige was like, I feel complete because he showed up for me. No, girl, he showed up for the cameras. Like, your delusions are getting ridiculous at this point. He did not show up for you. He showed up poorly dressed for the cameras. Girl, Paige ignorant, child. So then they get ready to walk out, and she's like, I'm so proud of you. He's like, why, yo? She's like, because you came. Honey, they did it. As soon as they left, honey, he asked her, well, what you doing after this? And she was like, I'm just trying to figure out everything about the process. And he was like, you want to process this, D? And she was like, sure. And then they went off into the sunset. And then I see that on this reunion page, you look beautiful on this reunion, might I add, honey. The makeup's sitting, hair sitting, everything looks great, okay? But I see that you and Chris are acting a fool yet again. I am so happy that next week is the reunion, so we can wrap this up with a nice little bow and we can move on to our lives and see what Houston has to offer. I was very disappointed in this reunion. In this decision day. It's called the Decision Day Massacre, honey, because child, I just can't be bothered. Okay, honey, I got through it and whatever. and they brought Chris and Paige back, and I didn't realize how much they raised my pressure. Child, I got a whole soundtrack for this decision day. Y'all let me know if y'all want it. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's talk about it. We will be doing our Friday night live because, honey, we got to talk about this decision day. This is not something that I can just do a video about and then we can go on about our merry way. No, there are things to be discussed. Did we like that wig Paige was wearing? That's a hell no. Did I appreciate that dress? I didn't really like the style of it, but that thing was thanging and it was sitting up, honey, letting the boys know what they missed, honey. So in that way, it was okay. Chris has that same recycled suit on that he's been wearing everywhere. Every time we see a picture of him, he has that suit on. Did I expect Virginia and Eric to stay together? Absolutely, because Eric will manipulate her and she will get drunk. So therefore, she has no memory of the reason why she does not want to deal with Eric. Did I expect Clara and Ryan to stay together? Not really. I thought that Ryan was going to come through with the, because of your religion and because of the things that I believe in. It's a no. I thought Beavis and Butthead was going to take a different route, but they didn't. Bree and Vincent, I knew that they were probably going to stay together. I'm disappointed that they did. And child, for me, it's a no. All right, y'all. Y'all don't hesitate to comment, like, and subscribe. Like I said, we will have our Friday night live and get into it if we're going to get into it. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.